Round 1, Hampton Downs. Matt Gibson emerged as the winner of the opening showdown in the SsangYong Racing Utes. Round 2 in the supercars in the wet at Pukekohe. Peter Bennett emerged from the chaos to take the round win. So what will happen in round 3? SsangYong Racing Series brought to you by BNZ, LDB, Hankook, Elf and BGW Wheels. The Great Lake Taupo, a fantastic playground. And a playground for all the stars at the Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park for round 3 of the SsangYong Racing Series. The Action Utes, a full team of 28 lined up in beautiful sunny conditions. Rowan Shepherd taking the series lead after the opening 2 rounds. And Daniel Connor, the defending champ, on the comeback trail. Lots of hard work by the race teams to find that sweet spot as they tweak the cars, these Butte Utes. Of course, all racing for the Sir Colin Meads Pine Tree Trophy. Mercedes-Benz 2.3 litre Utes. Here's the grid as they line up for race 1, and it's Rowan Shepherd, the series leader. 3 times runner-up, followed by Callum Hedge, Daniel Connor, the defending. Also watch out for the ladies in the racing Utes. Alexandra Whitley, Christina Orr-West. And further back down the field, the likes of Kane Barry, really loving getting out of the old rally cars onto the track. Plenty of other female contenders lining up in the field of 28 starters. Rolling start, expert comments from the driving standards observer, Mork, aka Mark Pedersen. And we are racing in race 1 here at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park in the SsangYong Utes Racing Series. Nice and tidy from the get-go.
It is, Brownie. We actually asked all the competitors, look, if you get through turn 1 relatively all right, it's going to get you through 2, 3 and 4, because they're the danger areas on lap 1. If they all work together, they'll get through it. If not, it's going to cause mayhem.
Especially coming out of turn 1 through 2 and 3, which really flows through this part of the infield.
It does. And we know from previous rounds, these Utes can go side by side, corner for corner, and Taupo is going to be no exception. It's such a dynamic track, and that's what we see, hard, fast, consistent racing. But keep in mind, it's such a long lap here that if you do one error and you get passed by 3 or 4 Utes, it's a lot of work to get back up there again.
Especially with the big field of about 28 Utes, all one make, of course, very, very similar. You've got to be careful that you've got to be able to, give the other guy a bit of racing room or the other lady.
Oh, you do as well, Brownie. You need to say, look, and that's actually just a hand gesture. Let's work together to catch these 2 in front, because if they start battling with each other 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, the front 2 are just going to make a gap, and you can't close that gap on this track because it's such a fast-flowing circuit that once they make the break, it's gone.
Turn 9, every driver would have been warned about running a bit wide there, because if you get onto the dusty stuff, it can make it very slippy coming into the top part of the loop.
Yeah, it does. Turn 9 has been identified as one part of the track. You got 1 warning, and everybody was warned at driver's brief, and if they go off, then there's a very good chance they'll get a drive-through penalty. Right
down the straight, first lap, first time, Rowan Shepherd, been hounded by young Callum Hedge. Had a win here last year. Young teenage driver, great to see him.
He's come of age this year, hasn't he? Like last year, he would go in and do some desperate manoeuvres, and part of the maturity is what we see now is that he realises second place is just as good as first place, because it's all about the championship, and that's why he's been very aggressive. But that's not a bad thing, because he realises that he's just got to keep finishing in the points for the championship contention.
And I love the way he's absolutely shadowing Rowan Shepherd, who's got the 2 NZ car, because, 3 years in a row he's been second in the championship, Rowan Shepherd, so he knows how to drive these things. Whoa, and look at that, he's run a bit wide.
And that's just the difference in 2 racing lines. Rowan Shepherd takes what they probably call a natural line, but Callum Hedge is what I actually think is the proper racing line.
Love this corner as they slide and glide over the ripple strip. That gives you a great shot there.
Yeah, and you've just got to keep the momentum going through all these corners here. Taupo, it's a very forgiving track. You can get a couple of wheels off on the grass, but so long as you keep the Ute in a straight line and keep the acceleration going, you're not going to get yourself in any trouble. And that's one of the dynamics about this circuit. It just keeps flowing and flowing.
Number 55, Christina Orr-West, and I don't think she hasn't driven from Formula First to Formula 4, Toyota Racing Series, New Zealand Grand Prix, Indy Lights, B&T V8s, and here she is. She's been 3rd twice in the championship. Every time Daniel Connor wins, she's 3rd. So She's one of the, I think she's one of the mothers of New Zealand motorsport at the moment, the 30-year-old.
Yeah, good luck trying to tell her that. Well, look, one thing about the Taupo track, and that's why we see a little bit of separation in the Utes, is because it's such a long track, and you've got high-speed corners, low-speed corners, and everything else in between, you have to have a bit of a happy compromise in terms of setup. So you'll see a couple of Utes very strong on one part of the track, and they've got to compromise for the other, and that's just part of the racing down here at Taupo.
So you've got your 2.3 litre Mercedes-Benz motor, you've got your 4-speed gearbox, but you can tweak the race suspension, can't you? That's one of the things the drivers can adjust so they get the feel of the car.
That's exactly right. You've got a bit of mechanical freedoms in suspension. You've also got tyre pressures, which we know is a big, huge factor in this, but also the brakes. You know, they're pretty much stock standard brakes here, so you've got to try to make them last for the duration of the race.
Shepherd, Hedge, Connor. Great speed shot coming out onto the home straight.
Look, many famous people have got that corner wrong near Brownie, and many famous people ended up on the inside, so let's hope we don't see any of that.
On board with young Callum Hedge, have a listen to the sound of these motors.
Magnificent footage, isn't it? It's over the top. In this part of the track here, they're actually right down to first gear, and the only reason they do that, they grab first, it helps slow the Ute down right on the apex of the corner, which aids the corner and on the handling, but it just gives them a little bit of momentum coming out of the corner as well.
Tell you what, if you go to a driver database, there's some fantastic stats on there because, you know, Rowan Shepherd would be the stats man and Daniel Connor's the Mr. Consistency man, #1. They both have the same win percentage and also podium percentage, sitting on around about 24% for winning races and about 65% for actually finishing on the podiums. So those are the two guys who've been two of the stars who've dominated the class since back in 2014.
It's pretty impressive stats, isn't it? Now, Rowan Shepherd, he's got one of two decisions to make here. Okay, he's going to be defensive, but you don't want to be too defensive on this part of the track because the exit in this corner is a 750-metre long straight. So, you know, you don't want the young fella to have a crack down the inside of there, but you've also got to free up the apex to keep the momentum going to carry the speed down the straight.
Got to say the young Callum Hedge, very, very impressive.
Oh, look, to date, he's certainly the most impressive and developed driver of the category, in my opinion.
Because you're talking about a young teenager here, 14 years old, up against guys like the 25-year-old in car #2 from Hawke's Bay out of Hastings, Rowan Shepherd. Lots of experience in Formula First racing. You've got Daniel Connor, #1, 23-year-old out of Auckland, who's got lots of experience in kart sports. So for a young kid, he's right in between a very experienced sandwich.
Well, and he's the meat in the sandwich, isn't he? And he's doing nothing wrong. He's not over-braking and compromising the position to third place. He's not being aggressive and sticking his nose in where it's not wanted to Rowan Shepherd. It's just a very matured, very calculated drive.
And you've got to say, Peter Bennett, coming off a very good performance at Pukekohe, also one of the season improvers at this early stage as we race into Christmas.
Yeah, we did. Like, we saw Peter come on song towards the end of last season, and he's just carried that momentum going forward.
So last lap for the opening race of the SsangYong Action Racing Utes Series, and Rowan Shepherd, he's had, 170 races, he's had 41 wins, 111 podiums, 18 pole laps, and 27 fastest laps. So that's the reason why he's out in front. Peter Bennett here, nursing it through the infield in fourth, coming out of the infield, heading up to what they term as the Pine Straight.
That was turn 9. That's one of the best corners in New Zealand motorsport. It's so fast, but if you get it wrong, it can get quite catastrophic as well.
In fact, every track has its sort of icon corner. In fact, turn 9 would be one of the corners here on Taupo, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's so fast. You just approach it fast. It's a bit of blind on the apex, and if you get the exit wrong and you get on the dirt, you just pray that you get back on the track.
And the other iconic corner at the Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park is the one that we're racing down to for the last time in the opening round for this race. And that, of course, is coming off the big, long back straight into this complex chase. Little wee kink onto the home straight. Could all go wrong here. It could all go right. Oh, close. Had a look. But Rowan Shepherd started on pole, set the fastest lap. He'll take the checkered flag. Callum Hedge second, Daniel Connor third. So confirming the result of race 1, Rowan Shepherd gets another win. Callum Hedge and Daniel Connor rounding out the top 3. Remember, for race 2, It's the reverse top 10, so it's going to be the young scholarship winner, Peter Vodanovic and Ryan Bailey, starting on the front row of the grid. And remember, no one has won race 1 and then started from 10th and gone on to win race 2. So it's going to give all these drivers down the back part of the field a chance to do this, which is what Rowan Shepherd did in race 1. Let's get a win.
Happy with that. We had a real good drive coming out of the most of the corners, so it didn't really allow Callum to have any chances of passing. Probably heated the tyres a little bit too much in the start, so we were worn off at the end.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, battling with Rowan and Daniel. Had a good pace on them, but couldn't get the move done in the end. And thanks to LDV for everything they're doing for me this year.
It was a good start. You know, everyone at front was quick, so you couldn't really do anything. Probably a bit of a boring race, but got some points and starting a good place for tomorrow.
And another one of the great features about this series, from the tech garage to the actual race garages, it's a great series for the drivers to learn, but also for the crews to work on, easy cars to work on as they get set to go racing for race number 2 in the SsangYong Racing Series.
Hi, I'm Kane Barry from Kaukopakapa, just north of Auckland. We're just hoping to learn a little bit, build a bit of racecraft, using it as a bit of a motivator to get fit, and finishing in the top 5 would be a good year for me if I could manage it. Favourite movie, probably Shawshank Redemption. Favourite food, schnitzel, mashed potato and peas. Well, entertainment has got to be V8 Supercars, always exciting. The commentators do a really good job with it, just 100% entertainment. So my favourite driver is David Reynolds. We all like to root for the underdog, and he's definitely an underdog.
Fantastic. Watch out for number 82, Kane Barry, and also Peter Vodanovic, the scholarship winner Ryan Bailey, starting from pole in race 2 as they reverse the top 10 results from race 1. So it's going to give all these drivers like Kane Barry from Kaukopakapa, starting in P15, a chance to race through the field. Although, of course, they've got those stars and the fast cars just in front of them. So it's the top 10 reverse grid. And remember, no one's come from number 10 after winning the first race to take the checkered flag in race number 2. What a bad start, though, for Alexandra Whitley. Out before they get the green light. And now we're racing. And what's going to happen with some of these young drivers, and drivers like Ryan Bailey up the front of the field, almost 1, 2, 3, 4 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, look, I had a word to Peter at the start of the race and said, look, mate, when you look in that rear vision mirror, there's a lot of established drivers. Just go and hold your own, be honest, be true to yourself, and give us an honest crack. And I honestly thought he was going to concede, but I don't think that's going to happen somehow, because he looked pretty fired up and he knows this is his time to tell the world what he's all about.
And I suppose for those drivers who get that chance to race from pole in race 2, this is their moment of glory. They don't want to stuff it up. Ryan Bailey, Vodanovic out in front, 2 wide,
3 wide
infield.
It's basically a formation lap at full racing speed, isn't it? They're side by side. We're now going into turn 8, and rows 1, 2, a bit further back, 3.
Just leaning on him.
God.
On board with Peter Vodanovic, the young scholarship winner, in front.
Now, there's Ryan Bailey is still on the inside. They won't go through here side by side. It can't happen. It can't happen.
Oh.
It made me look like a muppet.
2 wide. In fact, they're all going 2 wide through 9.
I've actually got a bit of shakes here. I can't believe that they've just gone through 9 side by side. The first 2, 3, 4 rows still... Oh, man, that's unbelievable.
Mate, they're platooning. It's like a freight train. Oh, look at young Peter Vodanovic just leaning on Ryan Bailey and just showing him the marbles. A little bit of a touch and rub.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's good, hard, aggressive racing. We'll take that all day, every day.
Great shot. One of them whips 2 wide onto the grass.
Yeah, mate, you got to say, Brown, you had to hold your breath there for the first 3 or 4 corners, didn't you? Going side by side, but now we see Christine Orr coming under a bit of pressure from Murray Brook. So, look, we know they can go through the next 3 corners side by side as well. Ryan Bailey having a crack down the inside. Mate, the young boy's doing a good job, isn't he?
What, he's 16 years old?
You know, we're pumping Callum Hedge up earlier in race 1. Maybe it's his turn to do the same to Peter.
One of the great things about the series, you see it, keep an eye on the dark clouds. There's been some thunderstorms in this area at the twilight zone, so the drivers will be cautious about not getting into too much wet stuff. Slipping down the inside, Ryan Bailey. And he's taken the lead from young Peter Vodanovic, so plenty of experience there from his mini challenge racing series many years ago. Ryan Bailey really enjoying these Utes. He said he was just struggling for grip though.
Yeah, look, he just put it down the inside, grabbed first gear at the right time and got the good drive off. Now let's see what Peter does. If he's going to be smart, he'll just jump in the back and he'll learn what Wright's doing. You know, he'll learn where he's stronger, where Ryan's stronger, and play their strengths and try to minimise your weaknesses. Look at the background, look at the clouds.
Yes, some dark clouds hovering above Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park, but she's all hot and sweaty on the track. It's been a hot day. So what about the tyre wear here?
Now, tyre wear's quite minimal, actually. You know, you get by probably all 4 races on the same set of tyres, unless it rains and you need to put something that has a little bit more grip on there. But that's another thing we're going through their minds, is when they have a look in the mirrors or have a look in the sky and they see it dark, it's quite threatening.
Daniel Connor showing all of his experience, just muscling his way back up through the field after a weekend off. He missed a round at Pukekohe, so he'll be determined to try and get back onto the podium and pick up as many points as he can in that series battle between himself and look at his great mate Rowan Shepherd right alongside, out wide at turn 11.
Now, Christina were on the inside. She's got a lot of racing experience and she won't give 1 quarter, and nor should she, to be honest. So, look, he's made a lot of room up to get to this point, but all of a sudden he's in competition with other drivers at a similar speed. So, you know, he's going to go around the outside here. He's got to be very careful to defend that line as well from Murray Brook, who's just right behind Christina, almost doing the bump draft. So is he going to go around the outside? I think Christina's just going to shut the door on him, and rightfully so.
Fantastic shots. Field of 28 of these Butte Utes sliding out of the chase onto the home straight, just letting it drift. Christina Raw West just showing her skill there in a car control.
Fantastic presence of mind by both competitors, wasn't it? You know, Rowan had the inside going through 1. Christina jammed it back on the inside and she's defended that move.
Round turn 1. And a really nice flow here for the drivers.
Well, it is, yeah, because if you get the execution wrong out of turn 1, it takes another 5 or 6 corners to recover, believe it or not, because this is the ultimate golf, what I call the golf hit analogy here. The slower, the better around Taupo. So if you go in and have a crack and you get the corner wrong, you never recover. If you're nice and slow and precise, you'll see the benefit through lap times and track position.
Which is the hardest thing, I suppose, when you're trying to tell some of the younger guys, is not to overdrive the car, or younger ladies, because there's lots of ladies racing in this class, and smooth as fast. Do they get that?
Oh, they don't. They have to learn it, but that's what they call racecraft and learning racecraft.
So sometimes it feels like you're going slow, but you're actually going fast because you're letting the car not overdrive or not work too hard.
That's right. You come one and you come peace. And let's see how peaceful everybody is going through turn 9. Outside, throwing it right down. Peter Bennett on Cullum Hedge, 2 hard charges, as we know.
So a definite break in the field now. A couple of different battle packs. You've got some of these other stars, the faster cars, trying to work their way back up after that reverse top 10 grid. The likes of Bennett, Hedge.
And this is a prime example about battling each other as opposed to working with each other. And because you're battling, you're taking ute speed out of one another. And what happens, it allows that group 5 or 6 we see in front that are just single file. As these guys are battling, they take speed out, and it just creates that breakaway, but also creates fantastic racing like we're seeing here. Oh, here we go.
We've got a bit of drama here coming into the big loop at the top of the end of the main Pine Straight. Let's take a look at what happened.
So Sheridan's gone down. She's outbraked herself a little bit, got the thing sideways, and oh gosh, that's a big hit.
So just out of control.
Here's the other in-car footage of Tim. There we go. Oh.
Just trying to avoid the carnage, but no can do, sir.
Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So the young star been muscled by the #1 man.
Yeah, nothing in that at all. He just, gave him as much racing room as he thought he was entitled to, so he really already had lost the position at that stage, so I doubt anything will come of that.
So what would be the goal of young Peter Vodanovic as the scholarship winner?
In this race here, just keep ticking the boxes. I'm racing with the best in the category, some of the best drivers in New Zealand motorsport. I started off pole position, I'm currently in 3rd. I don't think it can get any better than that.
So already you've seen some of these stars racing up from the rear of the reverse grid from position 10, remember. But you've got to say the 29-year-old out of Palmerston North, Ryan Bailey, now based in Auckland, he's doing a good job. He's never had a win in the SsangYong Racing Series, so he will be absolutely pumped up to try and get a breakthrough victory and just get that feeling of finally, after years of pushing and hard racing, take the checkered flag.
Mate, he's a true character of the sport, and I've got all the time for Ryan because he's just a generally good bugger. So I hope he can bring this through because it's not through lack of trying that he hasn't been on that top step.
Good bit of speed there by Murray Brook, going late and hard on the brakes at the end of the back straight. Can he hold it? Rowan Shepherd says, no, buddy. Oh, contact. What happened to Shepherd?
He's still there.
He's still there.
Yep.
You don't want to go too wide here, Murray.
No,
well
no,
done.
definitely not.
And Bailey gets that breakthrough victory right on the last lap. Fantastic result for Ryan Bailey. And some very close racing with Daniel Connor getting up for second ahead of the young scholarship winner Peter Vidanovic. Brooke Shepherd, All West Bennett, Herbert Gibson Hedge rounding out the top 10. So a great result for them. Kane Barry started in P15, made a couple of passes, got up to P13, bit of drama further back down the field. A little bit of contact, so a very exciting race. Race number 2 in the SsangYong Action Racing Series, a breakthrough win for Ryan Bailey.
I was praying for it not to rain. You know, it's the last thing you want to see when you're out in the lead, but the Futura Trailers Ute couldn't fault it. We just had to get into the front and maintain our lead, and I seen Dan coming and I was going, oh, and the skies were getting darker, and it's sort of like a monkey off our back for this one. We've led plenty and never managed to get one across the line, so it's nice to get this one. I was a little bit lucky at the start. Alex pulled off at the start, so I had a bit of a gap in front of me, so managed to make some moves at turn 1 and came out 5th or 4th or something like that. So yeah, just pushed forward and yeah, managed to almost get the win, but second was cool.
I'm really happy with my results. 10th in the first race and then started pole in the reverse top 10 and finished 3rd. So I just want to thank Alexander Whitley for the driver training, Neil and Jason, the head mechanics, and the SsangYong dealer team for setting me up with an awesome ute.
It's the SsangYong Action Racing Series from day 2 at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. Overnight thunderstorm had washed the track, so a good crowd and bright sunshine. 2 races on Saturday with wins to Rowan Shepherd and Ryan Bailey getting that breakthrough victory. Now the race crews coming off the nervous lineup on the dummy grid for race number 3. And this is all about who set the fastest lap so far. Daniel Connor, Rowan Shepherd, the 2 fast stars up front. Callum Hedge, Bennett, Bailey, Gibson and the rest of the field back down to number 28. So it's always a nervous day for the 3rd race because it's early on Sunday morning and it's unknown what the track conditions will be like, but no doubt probably quicker than later on in the day when the track heats up and some of the grip starts to go off. So this is a great chance for the rolling start for these fast guys out front to really put the pressure on the rest of the pack. Race 3, SsangYong Action Racing Series. Here we go into turn 1 again.
Someone down the inside, which is not always the smartest thing to do, Brownie, because it's a funnel into turn 1. You can go 3 abreast, but at some stage you get to a point where you can only go 2 and then it actually goes down to 1. So you've got to be very careful because if you turn yourself around to the front of the pack, no one's got anywhere to go.
Once again, cleanly through, so all the driver sort of key points have been talking about, they've obviously taken on board, so not too much biff and bash so far.
No, mate, this is fast, furious action, isn't it, Christine? Or hard going to there, wheels locked up, someone on the dirt, trying to, I don't know if there was a pass or trying to make avoid an incident, but either way they got away with it.
It just gets really tight when you're coming off 4 into 5 and suddenly you just get that concertina effect, doesn't it?
Well, it does. You know, if something goes a bit wide and throws a bit of dust up, of course you're blinded from there on in, so you don't know what to do. So you've got to be a little bit cautious, but you can't back out of it because then you've got 20 other utes behind you.
Rowan Shepherd in number 2, Daniel Connor number 1. They're the fast guys this weekend. Look at Callum Hedge and Peter Bennett. They really have been the top 4 this weekend for speed and consistency.
Now this Taupo track, it's a living, breathing beast. So what I mean by that is last night we had a bit of rain.
Bit of rain?
Bit of rain,
yeah.
yeah.
Thunderstorm went for about 3 hours.
It did. the wind's coming from a different direction, and there's a lot of pumice based around Taupo. So these guys are basically pioneers on the first couple of laps at racing speed. So, you know, lap 2, 3, they get a bit more confidence, but lap one, they don't actually know exactly how much grip they've got.
And because of the cooler conditions Sunday morning, this should be one of the quickest races for the weekend for them.
Well, it will be, yeah, but what you've got to do is you've got to put that into your tyre pressure management plan. You know, it's a little bit cooler. Do I start a little bit lower and hope they build up? Start with higher, try to maintain them. And, you know, I know these laps are only 6 laps long, but every corner, these guys are going, and girls, are going 110%. So these Utes get an absolute thrashing.
Fantastic shot there. And also to see the 5 ladies racing in the field at 28.
They're all doing a fantastic job, you know. Some are at the front, some are in the middle, some are towards the back, but it's all learning, it's all gathering that experience, you know, and they take that into whatever they go on from here.
And Daniel Connery missed the round of Pukekohe, doing some kart sport stuff overseas, but so he's on the comeback trail as we take a look at what it's like to be the #1 man in this Ute Racing Series.
All the way down the first gear there, Brownie, all that does, it just controls the Ute, it slows the acceleration, it helps with the braking. You're only in there for a couple of seconds, back to second to get momentum going. Hold it in second all the way through into turn 7, turn 8, and then of course up to that magnificent turn 9.
This is all about getting the drive coming out of this hairpin, letting it flow with that cabin. And is it feeling like you're going uphill here?
No, not really, because you just come into a very tight corner and you've got to get the execution right. Otherwise, if you falter, then you're going to get swamped by 2 or 3 Utes, as we're going to probably see in a second.
Mount Tauhara in the background, overlooking Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park in the sunshine. Day 2 Sunday. Peter Bogdanovic, the young teenager scholarship winner, holding off the rest of the battle pack. They're circulating around about 2 minutes further back down the field. Up front, O'Connor and Shepherd are doing around about 159s. Hedge at 159.9 as well. So just around about that magic 2 minute mark. Oh! How would you feel? He survived it. Got a bit of the old, well, a bit of a nudge there.
He did actually, but you know that's an interpretation. Peter went up really high going into that corner, and the other Ute probably saw, well, there's a bit of a gap. I'll plug it. Contact mate.
Difficult place to break here.
No, not really. Not if you do it right. Look at the flow Peter Bennett's got, and that's what I was saying earlier about being at one with the Ute. And it's like the golf swing. If you do it properly, it's a magnificent. If you do it wrong, you just struggle corner after corner after corner, and you don't really regather.
It's a bit like that classic cliche where you sort of drive by the seat of your pants, which is all about having a feeling with you in the car and the grip level on the track and also the rhythm.
Oh, it is. You know, my father always taught me that if you grab hold of the steering wheel that tight that it hurts your fingers, you're not at one. So you've got to be at peace with the Ute. And the minute you do that, everything becomes easier.
And I know what you mean by the old golf swing, because sometimes you can over-hit, like you can overdrive in these, and the sooner you relax and just let it flow and go with the flow, sometimes you get a better hit, and then you get a better sort of connection, I suppose, with the track and the car.
It's a pretty simple analogy, but it's actually very true.
Keep it simple.
Stupid.
Or sportsman.
Do you want to say it?
So a good field, 6-lap dash. Plenty of other drivers having their own little personal battles further back down the field.
Yeah, now this race has become a little bit established now. You know, early morning conditions, Ryan Bailey, you know, using every ounce of track. Going 2 wheels off, that's okay. If you take all 4 off, like we mentioned earlier, the officials just give you a drive-through penalty, and that's all about safety.
Just sliding, going into this top part of the track here. 830 metres, the back straight at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. Fantastic heat haze. Warming up, very hot conditions. Oh, Shepherd trying to have a look. Connor's got him covered though. And you can take that sort of defensive driving line down the straight, can't you?
Yeah, you can do, you know, but one thing to remember is if you're driving, you can only move once. So you can defend, but you can't keep going left, right to make it harder on the other driver. 200 competitors. It's Ken Hunter. He's a real character of the category, the one in the green Ute, Ken Hunter. And of course our 3rd place competitor from race 2, Peter, the scholarship rider there.
So the last lap, and this could be a chance for these guys to actually just get their fastest laps up, because it's all about the championship points for race 4, the final of the weekend. Rowan Shepherd making up a spot. Callum Hedge. Good battle here for second and third, a place on the podium. The series leader in front of young teenager Callum Hedge, and here's Daniel Connor out to pick up a win for the weekend.
It does that. A little bit of racecraft that Callum needs to learn is you saw him come out of the hip and he left it too long in first gear. Allowed Rowan to probably just gather a ute car length, and it's all about racecraft.
So Daniel Connor set the fastest lap in this race. He actually had 8 fast laps last year, 2 pole positions, 17 podiums. He picked up 7 wins at the 23 races to become the champion last year, which is all about consistency. He just gets it, doesn't it?
He does, but one thing I'm just amazed about this whole category is just how they throw these utes into the corners and they just come out the other side. It's just almost staggering how aggressive they are, but the utes just asking for more.
Gotta love that corner, that inside line by Callum Hedge. Shepherd went wide, the normal racing line, and then Hedge just threw it down the inside, had a go. Good skills, bit of rubbing, bit of racing.
And that's all we ask of them, is just nice, clean, honest racing.
So the MTF #1 car, Daniel Connor, and taking a nice wide line down through the chase. He'll come onto the home stretch and pick up his first win of the weekend as Callum turns it into a lawnmower.
Slots himself straight back in. There'll be no penalty for that because he didn't gain or lose a position.
So the #1 man gets his first win of the weekend. Daniel Connor. Shepherd comes home in second place, and a good battle for third and fourth between Callum Hedge, Peter Bennett, Ryan Bailey at top 5. So he's had a top weekend, followed by Christina Orr-West, Gibson, Herbert, Brook and Whitley rounding out the top 10. Good to see her back after disappointment of having a DNF in the second race of the weekend. Peter Vidanovic finally coming home in P12. So it's Daniel Connor back in the winner's circle and back in the points chase in the championship.
It was a tough race. It was really slippery and slidey, seeing that it's really hot. So I think everyone was basically doing the same times and trying to find a gap if they can. So yeah, just put my head down and tried real hard, and had to fend them off on that second to last lap, which worked in my favour because they started battling and I got away. So yeah, happy with that one.
Yeah, it was pretty hard work there with the old 14-year-old behind me. So yeah, no, it was cool. Had a bit of a go with the leader there, but it wasn't quite on. So just backed out of it, and then yeah, the last lap was pretty interesting as well. So yeah, second's good for us.
Gave it everything for the whole race, and then had a good old crack on the last lap, but just couldn't make it stick. And also thanks again to LDV.
Hi, my name's Matt Gibson, driver of the number 88 right tank SsangYong Ute. Coming into this weekend, we're sitting in third, 10 points behind Ryan Shepherd, the championship leader. This weekend's gaps haven't really opened up for us, so the next race for all the weekend's coming up, hoping to make amends and move forward.
And here's how they line up for the fourth and final showdown. Yes, the final countdown at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. Connor, Shepherd, Hedge, Bailey, Bennett, Orr-West, Brook, Gibson, Vidanovic and Herbert, the top 10. Followed by Whitley, Hunter, Allen, Mallard, Barry, Booth, Parkinson, Foster, Hyam, Fletcher. And of course the other 8 drivers, Prouting, Hanwright, Northcott, Vanderloos, Field, Weston, Tim Montgomery, coming off a bit of a battered car from the previous race. So, rolling start, and the final race of the weekend to wrap up the action in the Speedworks Motorsport Championship at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park. It's been a hot, dry day. What about the track conditions with that sort of pumicy type slippy sand that is famous around here?
These guys have nothing in their favour in terms of mechanical grip provided by the circuit this time of the day, Brownie. It's hot, it's been windy. Prime example there, a little bit of dust being thrown up by another competitor. So yeah, no, nothing really likeable at this stage.
So it's all about the battle of survival. It's all about the chase for the championship points, which is currently led, of course, by Rowan, Shepherd, Peter Bennett, having a very good start in the opening rounds of the series, both at Hampton Downs and also Pukekohe. So this is round 3, and then this is the Christmas break, and then they have a big break over New Year before returning at Hampton Downs in March. So they'll be looking forward to actually, I think Kirk Stoneman was looking forward to actually going fishing, having a break.
And the captain, he certainly will do. But you're talking about the championship. The Utes had a second, third and fourth on the track at the moment, a first, second and third in the championship, you know, so they'll want to go out of this round going into the summer break, you know, winning the championship, if not still be able to be in contention, at least have an honest crack at that top step of the podium.
So it's Daniel Connor, remember, Callum Hedge, and watch out for number 2. He's currently third in the race, and that's Rowan Shepherd. He's currently leading the series, and he's always going on about he just wants to get rid of number 2 and become the number 1 champion for the first time. 3-time runner-up, Daniel Connor.
Actually, I don't actually know what the hand signals are here because he's actually leading the race. Oh, of course, he's a stablemate with Callum Hedge, so maybe he's saying, look, just jump ahead or let's work together and try to get a bit of a break over Rowan.
Follow me.
Correct.
And let's, do your job to keep a break between yourself and this guy, Peter Bennett and Rowan Shepherd.
So that's first and second in the championship in picture right now, Peter being second. So he won't want to do anything too silly because he's still got to try to battle for the lead, but also that championship contention.
And for Rowan Shepherd, great shot, the speed shot, coming onto the home straight. All he has to do is collect points here to maintain his advantage with basically 2 rounds. You've got another sprint round coming up at Hampton Downs and then the Enduro, which, when you think about it, you're going to have the final round's going to be an endurance showdown, and that could change everything, couldn't it?
Well, it could do, and also, round 1 has X amount of points, but round 4 and 5, the amount of championship points available escalates quite significantly. So, if you do falter in rounds 4 and 5, the penalty is huge for you.
Down the look, we're having a look down the inside. And almost getting it done, neat and tidy. Very, very clean racing at the moment, so all the drivers very much aware of just get it back in the box and head home for a Merry Christmas. But make the most of it, really enjoying the weekend too with 4 races.
Yeah, it is. We've seen some of the best racing this category has ever provided. I've seen some fantastic racing at Pukekohe and Hampton Downs, but what we've seen this weekend has certainly been very special in my opinion.
So even though these are Utes and people love to come along and, see the cars, smell the petrol, hear the sound of the cars, they also like to see some crashes and smashes, but you got to say they're going to be seeing some really good driving out of these guys and girls over this weekend, haven't they?
Oh, they have done. Yeah, we've seen a lot of honest rubbing. And that's accepted all day, every day. It's the argy-bargy and the nonsense stuff which we're trying to get out of the category. And I believe this is the first round we've probably seen that. And look, and that's a testament to what I'm saying there, Brownie. We saw Utes locked up, wheels locked up, but no one being silly about it.
Oh, look at that, a classic example.
Oh, saying in the background, saying not being silly, there's Ken Hunter and there's Peter Village there.
Got a bit of a tangle as they came out of the complex onto that entrance into the home straight, and Ken Hunter.
It's not a nice position being faced backwards on the last corner because it's so fast.
A little bit agricultural. Let's have a look on board, see what happened. So he ducks down the inside over the ripples.
Yeah, they can go side by side, we know that.
He's back on the ripples, contact here. And just into the side of him, turns him round.
Yeah, look, interpretation. It's let's put it like that. We'll certainly review that one after the race.
So that review process is, there's another one.
Yeah, probably review that one too, I would have thought.
We spoke too soon. We're back to agricultural racing.
We are, yeah.
The late great pine tree would be wrapped now.
Commentator's curse.
Exactly.
He just lined him up and nailed him.
Anthony Allen.
Yep, there you go. Look, there's 2 sides to every story, so there might have been part of that equation that we can't see. So
does it get a bit heated after the race in these sort of discussions?
No, not really, because we sit down and we try to treat it all in a professional manner, and we get all the video evidence that we can gather and other sources as well. So when we review it, it's a very informed process. We give the competitors the respect they deserve and listen to their stories. Sometimes it's black and white, and other times there's interpretations that come into it. So we just got to break that down, get rid of every single bit of emotion and just base it on facts.
The fact is, Rowan Shepherd is the man. He's third at the moment.
He's just about backing it in.
Slipping and sliding.
Into the back straight, and that's just how much confidence this young fella has in that ute.
And you can see some of that pumice type sort of slippy sand that this circuit's famous for, just whipping across the circle, which makes it, very difficult sometimes to drive, and look at Shepherd.
I'm going to jump out a limb here. I think that that Daniel Connor is actually baiting young Callum Hedge to try to take the lead here, but he knows he can't, because if Callum goes through, Rowan Shepherd is just going to plug that gap.
So these two guys working in tandem here.
Well, I'm a little bit suspicious, because just the way he went into turn one, he went so wide, it was almost like saying, you know, come through, have a look, because I know you're battling with Rowan for the championship. I'm out of it because I missed one of the rounds. I could be wrong, just got that feeling about it.
Well, it'll make an interesting conversation over the Christmas break when they resume racing back in Hampton Downs coming up in the new year. So Daniel Connor, he's a two-time champion, Mr. Consistency, knows what it's like to win the championship, very experienced coming out of kart sports, the Aucklander.
Now, if Rowan Shepherd wants to do anything with Callum Hedge, he has to execute the exit of turn 9 this corner properly. He's got to get a flyer and then have a bit of a lunge down the inside, come into the hairpin. He's just too far back, it's not going to happen.
So this is all about collecting points here, keeping it cool. And if they do stay the way they will on the track, it's still going to be Rowan Shepherd, Peter Bennett, Callum Hedge, the big winners for the weekend as they head into the Christmas break down the main straight. Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park, fantastic shot. The SsangYong Action Racing Series, these little wee Utes, 2.3 litre Mercedes-Benz motors, 4-speed gearbox, about 130 kilowatts of power, and a very exciting one-make motor racing series that's all about teaching the drivers racecraft. Slide and glide over the ripples, smooth and fast, and that's how you take the checkered flag. Number 1, Daniel Connor, the man from Auckland, picks up his second back-to-back win of the weekend. Hedge, great drive in second. Rowan Shepherd maintaining the series lead in third. So confirming the fourth and final race of the weekend, it's the fastest out in front, leading from the front and picking up valuable points in that chase for the championship. Connor, Hedge, Shepherd, Bennett, Bailey, Christina Orr-West, and some good results further back down the field. It's a very good racing over the weekend. Plenty of action in the racing series from these super little SsangYongs.
It's been a tough weekend. Everyone's been really quick, so just lucky that I started at the front and managed to stay there. So it was a pretty good race fending off young Callum and Rowan. So no, I was really happy for the win.
It was a really good race battling with Daniel and Rowan. Had a few goes at Daniel, but he just ended up getting away in the slower stuff. And also big thanks to LDV for everything they're doing for me this year.
Didn't quite have the car in that one. Two boys in front, I was just keeping them in a draft to keep up with them. So yeah, congrats to them. I just try to keep Peter Bennett behind me because he's my rival at the moment, so keep in front of him. So yeah, we're happy for that.
Also happy, Daniel Connor takes out the round win, gets the $1,000 check from the series coordinator. Mark Patch does a great job of running the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Rowan Shepherd, the man in front as they head to the summer break before they come back for the fourth round in Mighty March at Hampton Downs. SsangYong Action Racing Series brought to you by BNZ, LDV, Hankook, Elf and VGW Wheels.